Highway 27, midnight. A woman stumbled from a black Mercedes, heels clicking against wet pavement, blood on her temple. Marcus didn't hesitate. He pulled his truck to the shoulder, grabbed his phone, scanned the darkness. 3 men emerged from the woods. One held a gun. Marcus moved on instinct, military instinct. Get in, now. The woman's eyes were wild with fear, but she ran. Marcus floored it as a bullet shattered his rear window. Glass exploded. He drove 2 miles, 5, until the headlights behind them disappeared. The woman pressed herself against the passenger door, trembling. "Who are you?" Marcus kept his eyes on the road. Someone who was in the wrong place at the right time, or the right place at the wrong time, not sure yet. She stared at him. Black man, 40s, worn jacket, calloused hands gripping the wheel. "Why did you stop?" "Because you needed help." He pulled into a gas station. Fluorescent lights. Empty parking lot. "I'm calling the police." She fumbled for her phone. It wasn't in her purse. They took it. "Use mine." Marcus handed her his phone. She dialed 911, gave the address, described the men. Her voice shook the entire time. When she hung up, silence filled the truck. "Thank you." Her voice was barely a whisper. Marcus nodded. Police arrived. 2 officers, white 30s, hands near their belts. They separated Marcus and the woman immediately. Officer Chen approached Marcus. "What happened here?" Marcus explained. "Saw her on the road, men chasing her. I picked her up. They shot at us." Chen's eyes narrowed. "They shot at you?" "Yes, sir, my rear window." Chen walked around the truck, examined the shattered glass. "You know this woman?" "Never seen her before tonight." The other officer, Martinez, stood with the woman 20 feet away. She gestured as she spoke, pointed at Marcus's truck at the highway. Martinez walked over. "She says you saved her life." Marcus said nothing. Chen studied him. "You got ID?" Marcus pulled out his wallet. "Driver's license. Veteran's card." Chen looked at both. "Army?" "Yes, sir. 12 years. Iraq, Afghanistan." Chen's expression shifted slightly. "Wait here." The officers conferred quietly. The woman stood alone, arms wrapped around herself. She kept glancing at Marcus. After 10 minutes, Chen returned. "She's Claire Donovan, heiress to the Donovan pharmaceutical fortune. Those men were trying to kidnap her. Ransom situation." Marcus absorbed this. "Is she okay?" "Shaken up, but alive because of you. We'll need a statement." Marcus gave his statement, detailed, precise. Military training made him good at recalling facts. Times, descriptions, license plate numbers he'd memorized without thinking. When he finished, Chen handed him a card. "You might hear from the family. They'll want to thank you." "I don't need thanks." Chen almost smiled. "I don't think that matters." Claire approached as the officers walked to their car. She looked different under the lights, younger than he'd thought, maybe 28. Expensive clothes torn, makeup smeared, but her eyes were clear now. "I don't know your name." "Marcus." "Marcus Cole." She extended her hand. "Claire." They shook. Her hand was small, soft. His was rough, scarred. "I owe you my life." "You don't owe me anything." "Yes, I do." She pulled a business card from her purse, wrote a number on the back. "This is my personal cell if you need anything, anything at all." Marcus took the card. "Just get home safe." She nodded. A black SUV pulled up. Security. 2 men in suits helped her inside. She looked back once as they drove away. Marcus stood in the empty parking lot, glass crunching under his boots. Then he drove home. Marcus's apartment was small, 1 bedroom in a complex that had seen better decades. Peeling paint, thin walls, a window that didn't quite close, but it was his. He'd earned it. On the wall hung his discharge papers. Honorable. Beside them, a photo. Marcus in uniform with his unit. Some of those faces were gone now. He didn't look at it often. His phone rang at 7:00 a.m. Unknown number. "Hello, Mr. Cole. This is Harrison Donovan, Claire's father. I'd like to meet you." Marcus sat up. "That's not necessary, sir. It is to me. My daughter is alive because you didn't look the other way. Please, 1 hour of your time." Marcus thought about saying no. "Sir, I appreciate it, but I just did what anyone would do." "That's where you're wrong. Most people would have kept driving." Harrison's voice was firm. "I'm sending a car. 2:00 p.m. today. The address is already on its way to your phone. I hope you'll come." The call ended. A text arrived. Address in a neighborhood Marcus had only seen from the highway. The car arrived at 1:45 p.m. Black sedan, driver in a suit. Marcus wore jeans and a button-down shirt, the cleanest clothes he owned. The drive took 30 minutes. Through neighborhoods that got progressively wealthier. Manicured lawns, iron gates, trees older than the city. The Donovan estate sat behind stone walls. The gate opened automatically. The driveway curved through gardens that looked like paintings. The house was a mansion, no other word for it. Georgian architecture, columns, windows that sparkled. A woman in a uniform opened the door. "Mr. Cole, please come in." The foyer had marble floors, a chandelier that probably cost more than Marcus made in 5 years, paintings on the walls, real ones. "Mr. Donovan is in his study. This way." She led him down a hallway, past rooms Marcus glimpsed but couldn't fully process. Library, sitting room, dining room with a table that could seat 20. She knocked on a heavy wooden door. "Come in." Harrison Donovan stood behind a desk. 60s, silver hair, sharp suit but tired eyes. He came around the desk immediately, hand extended. "Mr. Cole, thank you for coming." They shook hands. Harrison gestured to a leather chair. "Please sit. Can I get you anything? Coffee? Water?" "I'm fine. Thank you." Harrison sat across from him, not behind the desk, equal footing. "I won't waste your time with small talk. You saved my daughter's life. The police told me what you did, how you drove through gunfire, how you stayed calm." Marcus shifted. "I was a combat medic. Staying calm is what I was trained for. Training is one thing, doing it is another." Harrison leaned forward. "Most people would have driven past, told themselves it wasn't their problem. You didn't. I saw someone who needed help. That's all." Harrison studied him. "The police caught 2 of the men. They're talking. This was a coordinated kidnapping. They'd been following Claire for weeks. If they'd gotten her." He trailed off. Marcus said nothing. Harrison stood, walked to the window. "I built my company from nothing, worked 80-hour weeks, sacrificed everything. And I did it so my children would be safe, so they'd never know what it's like to struggle." He turned. "But all that money, all that security, and my daughter was almost taken. And the person who saved her was a stranger who had nothing to gain." Marcus met his eyes. "I had everything to gain. I got to help someone. That's not nothing." Harrison was quiet for a long moment. "You're not what I expected." "What did you expect?" Harrison smiled faintly. "I'm not sure, but not someone who turned down a reward. I don't want a reward." "What do you want?" Marcus thought about his apartment, the bills on his counter, the job interviews that never called back, the VA appointments that never quite fixed what was broken. "A fair shot. That's all any of us want." Harrison nodded slowly. "What if I could give you that?" "I'm not looking for charity. I'm not offering charity. I'm offering a job." Marcus frowned. "Doing what?" "Head of security for my family. You'd oversee our entire protection detail, coordinate with law enforcement, travel with us when needed. It's a real position. It pays $120,000 a year. Full benefits. Housing allowance." Marcus stared. "That's—" Harrison raised a hand. "Before you say it's too much, let me explain. I've had professional security for 20 years, expensive firms, trained personnel, and they failed. You succeeded. Not because you had better equipment or more training, but because you gave a damn. That's what I need. Someone who gives a damn. I don't have experience in private security. You have military experience, combat experience, medical training, crisis management. That's more valuable than any certification." Marcus looked at his hands, hands that had held rifles and bandages, hands that had pulled Claire into his truck while bullets flew. "This is a lot to process. Take your time. But know that this offer is real, and it's not about gratitude. It's about recognizing that you're exactly the kind of person I need protecting my family." A knock on the door. Claire entered. She looked different, cleaned up, dressed in casual clothes. But her eyes still held the fear from last night. "Dad, She saw Marcus. "Oh, I didn't know you were here." Harrison smiled. "Claire, you remember Mr. Cole?" Marcus stood. "How are you doing?" She walked over. "Better, thanks to you. I wanted to call, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to be bothered." Marcus finished. "No, you've been through trauma. Take care of yourself first." She smiled. Small, genuine. "My dad's trying to hire you, isn't he?" Marcus glanced at Harrison. "He mentioned it." "You should say yes." "Why?" "Because you're the only person who didn't hesitate. Everyone else in my life. There's always a calculation. What do they get? How does it benefit them? But you just helped, no questions. That's rare." Marcus didn't know what to say. Claire turned to her father. "I'll let you finish." She looked at Marcus. "I hope you say yes." She left. Harrison sat back down. "You don't have to decide now. Think about it. Talk to your family. Whatever you need." Marcus nodded. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course. Why does this matter so much to you? You could hire anyone." Harrison was quiet, then he spoke. "When I was 25, I was broke, working 3 jobs. One night my car broke down on the side of the road, middle of nowhere. A man stopped, fixed my car. Wouldn't take payment, just said, pass it on when you can. Harrison's eyes were distant. I built everything I have on that moment, on the idea that kindness matters, that people matter. And last night you proved that's still true. Marcus felt something shift in his chest. I'll think about it, that's all I ask. Marcus left with Harrison's business card and a head full of questions. The driver took him home in silence. That night Marcus sat in his apartment. He pulled out his phone, scrolled through contacts, stopped on a name, James, his old squad leader. The call connected. Marcus. Yeah, it's me, man, it's been a year. How are you? Marcus told him everything. The highway, Claire, the job offer. When he finished, James was quiet. Then he laughed. You're kidding, I'm not. James whistled. $120,000, that's life-changing money. I know, so what's the problem? Marcus stared at the photo on his wall. His unit, young faces. I'm not sure I fit in that world. What world? Rich people, mansions, security details. You fit in the world where people need help. That's what you've always done. That's what this is. Marcus rubbed his face. What if I screw it up? Then you screw it up. But at least you tried, better than wondering what if. They talked for another hour about the war, about home, about second chances. When Marcus hung up, he felt clearer. He texted Harrison. I'll take the job. The response came immediately. Welcome to the team. We start Monday. Monday arrived fast. Marcus wore a suit, borrowed from James, who'd mailed it overnight, too tight in the shoulders, but it worked. The Donovan estate looked different in daylight, bigger, more intimidating. Harrison met him at the door. Marcus, come in. Let me introduce you to the team. The security team was 6 people, former military, former law enforcement. They looked at Marcus with skepticism. This is Marcus Cole, he's your new director. A man stepped forward. Late 40s, buzz-cut, cold eyes. Tom Brennan, former Secret Service. You've got no private security experience. Marcus met his gaze. You're right, I don't. Then why are you here? Because I stopped 3 armed men from kidnapping Claire Donovan. What did you stop? Silence. Brennan's jaw tightened. Harrison cleared his throat. Marcus has my full confidence. You'll report to him. Any questions? No one spoke. Good. Marcus, my office. They walked down the hall. Harrison closed the door. They're going to test you. No, can you handle it? Yes, sir. Harrison smiled. I believe you. For the next week, Marcus learned the estate, security protocols, cameras, alarms, escape routes. He memorized everything. At night, he studied private security manuals. During the day, he shadowed the team. Brennan was the hardest. He questioned every decision, every suggestion. On Friday, Marcus called a team meeting. Everyone gathered in the security office. Brennan leaned against the wall, arms crossed. I've been here a week. I've watched how you operate. You're good, professional, but you're reactive, not proactive. Brennan scoffed. Meaning you respond to threats, you don't anticipate them. The kidnapping happened because no one noticed Claire was being followed. We can't monitor every moment. Marcus pulled up security footage on the screen. 3 weeks before the kidnapping, Claire leaving a restaurant, a gray sedan in the background. Same sedan, 2 weeks before. Outside her gym. Same sedan, 1 week before. Coffee shop. Same sedan. The room was silent. I found this in 20 minutes. Why didn't anyone else? Brennan's face darkened. We monitor active threats. This is passive surveillance. Exactly. And passive surveillance is how you catch threats before they become active. Marcus looked at each team member. We're changing protocols. Everyone monitors. Everyone reports. No detail is too small. A woman spoke up. Sarah Chen, former LAP. That's a lot of data. We'll create a system. Patterns. Anomalies. Anything unusual gets flagged. Brennan pushed off the wall. This is overkill. Marcus turned to him. Claire Donovan was almost kidnapped. My predecessor missed it. I'm not missing the next one. If that's overkill, I'll live with it. Brennan stared, then he nodded. Fine. Over the next month, Marcus rebuilt the security system. New cameras, new software, new protocols. The team resisted at first. Then they saw results. A suspicious car flagged before it became a problem. A pattern of unusual deliveries caught early. Threats neutralized before they escalated. Harrison noticed. You've done more in a month than the last director did in 2 years. Marcus was reviewing footage, just doing the job. Harrison sat down. How are you adjusting? Honestly, it's strange. Living in a different world. This isn't a different world, it's just a different neighborhood. Same problems, same people, just more money. Marcus smiled. Is that what you tell yourself every day? Claire started spending more time in the security office. At first, Marcus thought she was checking on him. Then he realized she was curious. You really look at all this footage, every frame that gets flagged, that's tedious, that's thorough. She watched over his shoulder. What are you looking for? Anything that doesn't fit. Patterns, repetitions, people who show up too often. She pointed at the screen, like that guy. Marcus paused the footage. Where? There. Blue jacket. He was in yesterday's footage too. Different location. Marcus rewound, checked the previous day. She was right, same man, blue jacket, different place, same time. He pulled up a week's worth of footage. The man appeared 4 times, always at a distance, always watching. Marcus's chest tight. Good catch. Is it bad? I don't know yet, but I'm going to find out. He sent the footage to a contact, former intelligence. 2 hours later, his phone rang. The man's name was David Kramer, private investigator, hired by a tabloid to follow Claire. Not dangerous, just invasive. Marcus called the tabloid's editor. This is Marcus Cole, head of security for the Donovan family. I know you hired David Kramer to follow Claire Donovan. If he's within 500 feet of her again, I'm filing harassment charges and getting a restraining order. Your call. The editor sputtered. We have a right to. You have a right to public information, not to stalk a private citizen. Test me. The surveillance stopped. Claire heard about it. You threatened a tabloid. I protected your privacy, she smiled. No one's ever done that before. Your last security team didn't care. They saw it as part of the job, occupational hazard of being wealthy. Marcus looked at her. You're not a job, you're a person. You deserve privacy like everyone else. Something shifted in her expression. Thank you. 6 months in, Marcus had transformed the security operation. The team respected him. Even Brennan. The Donovans trusted him. And Marcus felt something he hadn't felt in years, purpose. Then Harrison called him into his office. Sit. We need to talk. Marcus sat. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong, but I need to tell you something. Harrison pulled out a folder. When I hired you, I did a background check. Standard procedure, I know. What you don't know is what I found. Marcus tensed. Harrison opened the folder. You were awarded the Silver Star for actions in Kandahar. You pulled 4 soldiers out of a burning vehicle while under fire. One of them was a general's son. Marcus's jaw tight. That's in the past. The general is Richard Haywood. He's now chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and he's been looking for you. Why? To thank you. Marcus stood. I don't want thanks. I did my job. Harrison held up a hand. I didn't tell him I found you. That's your choice, but I wanted you to know. Marcus walked to the window. The estate stretched out below. Gardens, fountains, wealth. Why are you telling me this? Because you have a right to know who you are, what you've done. You're not just the guy who saved my daughter. You're a decorated war hero. I'm a guy who did what needed to be done. That's exactly what a hero is. Marcus turned. I don't feel like a hero. Most heroes don't. That night Marcus couldn't sleep. He thought about Kandahar, the explosion, the flames, the screams. He'd pulled those soldiers out because leaving them wasn't an option, not because he was brave. Because he couldn't live with himself if he didn't. His phone rang. Claire, it's late. I know. I couldn't sleep. Me neither. Can I ask you something? Sure. Why did you save me? On the highway, you didn't know who I was. You had nothing to gain. Why? Marcus was quiet. Then he said, because I've seen what happens when people don't help. I've held dying men who could have been saved if someone had acted faster. I wasn't going to let that happen to you, even though you didn't know me. Especially because I didn't know you. Strangers are just people we haven't helped yet. Claire's voice was soft. That's a beautiful way to see the world. It's the only way I know how. They talked until 2:00 a.m. about life, about fear, about second chances. When they hung up, Marcus felt lighter. A year into the job, Harrison called a family meeting. Marcus was included. The Donovans sat in the living room. Harrison, his wife Margaret, Claire, and her younger brother Ethan. Marcus stood near the door. Harrison began. I've made a decision about the company. I'm stepping down as CEO. Margaret gasped. Harrison, you can't. I can, and I am. I'm 62. I've given 40 years to this company. It's time. Ethan leaned forward. Who's taking over? Harrison looked at Claire. You are. Claire's face went white. Dad, I'm not ready. Yes, you are. You're smart, compassionate, and you understand what this company should be. A force for good, not just profit. I can't. You can. And Marcus will help you. Everyone looked at Marcus. He kept his expression neutral. How? Harrison stood. Marcus, you've rebuilt our security, but more than that, you've shown us what integrity looks like. What service looks like. Claire needs someone she can trust, someone who won't let her fail, someone who sees her as a person, not a position. That's you. Marcus met Claire's eyes. She looked terrified. If Claire wants my help, she has it, but this is her decision. Claire stood, walked to the window. Everyone waited. Finally she turned. Okay, I'll do it, but I need time. You have time and you have support. The meeting ended. Marcus walked out. Claire caught up with him in the hallway. Do you really think I can do this? Marcus stopped. I think you're stronger than you know, and I think your father sees something in you that you don't see yet. What if I fail? Then you fail, but you'll fail trying. That's more than most people can say. She smiled. You always know what to say. I just tell the truth. 2 years in, Claire took over as CEO. The transition was rocky. Board members questioned her. Investors doubted her. The media scrutinized every decision. But Claire held steady. And Marcus was there. Not as security, as a friend. They worked late nights, reviewed strategies, debated decisions. Marcus didn't know business, but he knew people, and that mattered. One night, Claire looked up from a report. Why are you still here? What do you mean? You could work anywhere, do anything. Why stay? Because this is where I'm needed. That's it. Marcus set down his coffee. When I left the military, I felt lost, like I didn't have a purpose anymore. Then I found you on that highway. And everything changed. I'm not just protecting you, I'm part of something bigger, something that matters. Claire's eyes were bright. You matter, Marcus, more than you know. 3 years in, the company faced a crisis. A drug they developed had unexpected side effects. People were getting sick. The board wanted to cover it up. Settle quietly. Move on. Claire refused. We're pulling the drug, issuing a full recall. And we're paying for every medical bill, every treatment, whatever it takes. The board erupted. That will cost billions, then it costs billions. These are people's lives. One board member stood. You'll bankrupt the company, then we'll rebuild, but we'll rebuild with integrity. The room fell silent. Claire looked at Marcus. He nodded. The recall happened. The company took a massive financial hit. Stock prices plummeted. Investors fled, but Claire didn't waver. 6 months later, independent studies confirmed the company's transparency saved lives. Public trust soared. Investors returned. The stock recovered. Claire was hailed as a visionary, but she knew the truth. She looked at Marcus. I couldn't have done this without you. You did this. I just stood beside you. That's all I needed. 5 years after that night on Highway 27, Marcus stood in the Donovan estate. But now it felt like home. Harrison approached. I have something for you. He handed Marcus an envelope. What's this? Open it. Inside was a check and a letter. The check was for $2 million. Marcus stared. I can't accept this. You can. And you will. It's not a gift. It's payment for 5 years of service, for changing this family, for saving my daughter's life twice. Marcus looked up. Twice. Once on the highway, once in that boardroom. You gave her the courage to do the right thing. That's worth more than money, but it's all I have to give. Marcus's hands shook. This is too much. It's not enough. But it's a start. That night Marcus sat in his apartment. The same apartment he'd lived in for 7 years. He looked at the check, at the letter, at the photo of his unit on the wall. His phone rang. Claire, did my dad give you the check? Yeah, you deserve it. I don't know what to say. Say you'll stay. Even with this money you could leave, do anything, but I'm asking you to stay. Why? Because you're family, and family doesn't leave. Marcus felt his throat tight. I'm not going anywhere. Good, because I need you. We all do. Marcus hung up. He looked around his small apartment, at the life he'd built from nothing. He realized something. He'd found what he'd been looking for, not wealth, not recognition, purpose. The next morning, Marcus walked into the estate. Claire met him at the door. I have a proposal. I'm listening. I want you to run a new division, community outreach, using company resources to help veterans, people who served, people like you. Marcus's chest swelled. Why? Because you showed me that people matter more than profit, and I want to build something that proves it. What do you need from me? Just say yes. Marcus smiled. Yes. Text appeared over images. The Donovan Foundation has helped over 10,000 veterans reintegrate into civilian life. Montage. Veterans in job training, families reunited, lives rebuilt. Marcus Cole serves as Director of Veteran Services, overseeing programs in 15 states. Image. Marcus speaking at a conference. Veterans listening. Claire Donovan's leadership transformed Donovan Pharmaceuticals into one of the most trusted companies in America. Image. Claire receiving an ethics award. Marcus applauding in the audience. Final narration. Warm, hopeful. Courage isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a stranger stopping on a dark highway. Sometimes it's a woman choosing truth over profit. Sometimes it's two people from different worlds building something that matters. And sometimes the person you save ends up saving you right back. Final image. Marcus and Claire, standing side by side, looking forward, fade to black.